My name is Sheikh Kamarah, and I'm a senior TC with GlideFast Consulting. Today, I'm going to talk to you about GlideAjax. GlideAjax allows you to execute server-side code while calling it from the client side. In the example I'm going to show you today, that's particularly useful when you need to pre-populate or auto-populate fields based off of data you've entered in a form. There are times you will need to return more than one value from a GlideAjax, and ServiceNow has documentation here on just how to do that. They talk about using XML nodes and attributes in order to create a data structure that you can return to the client side and deconstruct and use to populate multiple values. Now, if you take a look at this snippet of code here, it's not the most friendly, and XML is not the most friendly. So today I want to show you a more friendly way to go about this when using JSON instead of XML. Now, what JSON is JavaScript object notation. It's essentially a string of key value pairs that you can really put together simply in code, and you can really extract data very simply. I preferred much more than I do XML, and you'll see why here in a second. So now we're going to jump into ServiceNow. And here I have a standard catalog item. And this use case is one I've come across in the real world, and where there's an onboarding form and the manager is entering employee data, and somewhere down the line, work email and the full name need to be generated based off of the data that was entered. Specifically, the work email needed to be unique. So we needed to check on the server side to make sure that what we created didn't exist. And if so, we needed to add more parameters to make sure that it was unique. So for instance, if I type in here, Fred, and you see, I get back the full name based on the first name and last name and an email. But you'll see here down in the email, it's fred.luddy1@example.com because fred.luddy@example.com already existed in the instance. So that was some server-side processing that was done in order to make sure that the email was unique. And you'll see here that we have both the full name and the email coming back and being populated at the same time. That's because we are using a GlideAjax call that is returning multiple values, but we're doing it with JSON. So let's dig a little deeper into this and take a look at the code, starting with the client side. And so this runs whenever one of those particular fields changed, whether it be the legal first name, last name, preferred first or last, or the middle name. This particular piece of code is going to make that Ajax call. So you'll see here, I'm setting up the Ajax and I'm feeding it parameters from this form. And when I get it back, I'll get the XML response. We'll talk a little bit about what I'm doing here to parse that out and extract the data, but you'll see it's just a few lines of code here, not like what we have to do here in this Ajax response with the get attribute and looping through to extract things from the XML, which can be really complicated with large data structures. So pretty simple client script. Let's take a look at the script include, the GlideAjax itself. So here we have a client callable script include. This is essentially the GlideAjax. This is what gets called from the client side to execute the server code. So you see here we have a function called create email. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to get all of our variables. We're going to get our parameters from the form, the legal first and last, preferred first and last, and the middle initial. Then we're going to set up some of our variables that we'll use to send back, namely the email and full name. We can send as many values back as we want to, but to keep it simple, we're just sending back 2. And here is the object, the JSON object that's getting initialized here. Notice the curly brackets. Unlike an array with the straight braces, you get curly brackets here to initialize a JSON object. So I'm going to step through the code at a high level. Don't want to bog you down too much here, and I'll point out the really important part as we get to it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to These are the parameters similar to the real world use case. Just check if there's a preferred first name. If that is the case, then that's what we're going to use as the first name in the email and for the full name. If that preferred first name doesn't exist, we're going to use that legal first name, which has to exist. And we're going to do a similar thing for preferred last. So basically, if you have a preferred first and last name, that's what we'll use. If not, then we're going to use either a combination of what's there or the legal information. And so at this point, we've constructed a full name and a full email. So now we do the checking. We're going to check if this email is unique. So as you saw earlier, I entered Fred Luddy. That was not unique. And basically it's a simple script down here to check the unique email based on the sys user record. It returns true or false. If it's true, that means that another email was found. So we have to make some modifications. So I'm doing a little bit of splicing here to insert a number or the middle name if it exists, based on what I'm finding and getting back from my unique email check. So without going too deep into this, the end result is to find eventually a unique email, even if I have to add numbers from 1 till whatever to find it. We'll get that unique email. And once we have our data, and again, this can be any amount of data, you can go reach out to as many tables as you need and harness as much data as you need. Once you're done doing that, this is when we build our JSON object. And it's really simple. You take your JSON object and you give it a name to the key and you assign it your value. It's that simple. So now you have a simple JSON object with 2 keys of email and name. And this is how you'll access the values through these keys. And then you assign the data values that you've processed up here. So this is the unique email that I generated and the full name that I generated. So now I have my JSON object. This line here is the key line. So a little bit of explanation here. This JSON object is a ServiceNow JSON object. This is not the JavaScript JSON object that is used with ES5. This is an older deprecated version of the JSON object. You can use, for example, this line, the more modern version, to return the object. The unfortunate thing here with script includes is it, for some reason, does not recognize this more modern line of code. So what I had to do is go back and use this older version, the ServiceNow provided API of JSON, and use the encode function to basically take my JSON object and turn it into a string that can be returned through the Ajax to the client side. So I had to do a little bit of manipulation here in this line, and you have to use global within a scoped application, and you have to use new to establish a new instance of this JSON API. So there are a few differences between this and the JavaScript provided version, but this is a Quebec instance. This is the latest version of ServiceNow, and this still works, but fair warning, this is old. So one day, hopefully the JSON stringify, this line will work. It essentially does the same thing, turns an object to a string. So on the other side, we can parse it out and use these keys. And that's exactly what I'll go show you now. So we're going back to our client script. And once we've sent our data off and we get the response, you'll see here that I'm collecting it in this answer variable. And then I'm using the JSON.parse function. Now, this is the JavaScript provided JSON API. This is the ES5 API. It works just fine on the client side and most other places in ServiceNow. It's just in that script include, there are some issues. So I had to use the older version of the JSON API provided by ServiceNow. Over here, I am using the modern version, the JavaScript provided version, to parse my answer. So this is the string version that was sent over. I'm parsing it back into a JSON object so I can easily just do a dot walk to those keys I mentioned, email and name, and I can just set the values on my form. And as you see, it works. So if I want to use my Her name is Jay. That'll change my full name and email. If I want to add her last name, totally different from my first legal, that'll change it, and so on and so on. So there you have it, returning multiple values from a GlideAjax call using JSON. Much simpler than XML, makes your life a lot easier, and it's super powerful. Thank you for your time.